trying to three-peat, and how do you solve that?
No, there's no similarities.
I got a question for you.
Hold on, Jim's on too.
Oh, thank you.
It's more than one question?
Oh, yes, we do.
Favoritism.
You mentioned yesterday, you're not in the playoffs right now, and it will come in the playoffs. But what happens if that switch doesn't go on then?
Well, we lose, then we go home. Simple as that. This is a game about winning and about getting your game together as a team, and those are the things that we strive to do. We had some mistakes yesterday, and our offense wasn't very good either. So we have a ways to go, and we're working at it.
Okay, thank you. Your two big guys, did they take themselves out of the game? Did Boston take them out of the game, or did Kobe in the fourth quarter take them out of the game? That's a good question, by the way.
I don't know. I really haven't looked at the game. I haven't looked at the second half yet. I watched some in the first half. I'm not even finished with that, but I'll get back to you on that one.
You said there aren't any similarities when you look at your other championship years. Why are those years different?
You never step in the same river twice. I think that's an old statement, right?
Right.
Yeah. There's nothing that's similar. I mean, it's going to be hard, but it's not similar in the same way. Pippen was out with the surgery, and he didn't get back until January. So, I mean, that was entirely different in that indication. The other one was both Cartwright and Paxson had tendonitis operations, and they weren't on the team to start the season. And so that's a little bit different. I guess Drew wasn't here, but, we didn't miss our point guard in this regard. So there's some things that are just, due to season, the way it's going, the personnel that we have, and, how our offense is clicking out as we go along. And right now, offensively, Boston was a better team yesterday. They shot the ball really well.
When you lose to Boston and lose to Sacramento, what should your approach be for your team? Is it change?
Suicide. We'll commit suicide. Mass suicide.
You drink Kool-Aid while you're at it?
No, we won't drink Kool-Aid.
What do you go from here? I mean, everyone and Laker fans, they want to commit suicide.
We're just playing one game at a time. It's Houston right now that we're worried about. Our practice today was about Houston. The last time we played Houston, we lost to them. So, we have something to do about the team coming up. We're not worried about San Antonio yet.
So I'm worried you might go to Montana and not get back to me. You were sitting there. I'll take just your opinion as you sat there as a coach for like 100 years, watching without looking at film. Which of those scenarios really took place? Big guys taking themselves out, Boston or Kobe?
Yeah, our defense didn't hold, and I think Kobe ended up taking it on his shoulders to beat the team. We were down by 6 with 4 minutes, and
you like that?
There are times it works, there are times it didn't. Like yesterday, it didn't work out, and our big guys didn't step in and demand the ball, and they weren't aggressive about it.
So you guys already have as many home losses this season as you had all of last season. Is that a pride factor, not showing up to work, something your own court? Is that,
I think I better go. I think this is going to be one of those days, huh? Okay. Yeah, we've got more losses probably this year on our home court than we did last.
Why is that happening?
Teams are coming in with a little more energy. This is a 2-time champion team. They really have a lot to. We have a lot to defend, and we're not going out there and doing the right job about defending our home court. There's no doubt.
Your record isn't appreciably different since Andrew came back before he got here. Same thing. It's a little bit better since he's been in the starting lineup. But I guess, is that surprising? What's that a reflection of?
I think we're 15-6 the first. Segment of 20 games that we look at, and we're 16-5 or something, 7, something like that. So we've been pretty consistent in between the 20 games, the first 20 and the second 20 games. So we just can't judge on anything right now, but just to go ahead and play the games. The next one's Houston, and we'll get after them on Tuesday night.
What is your philosophy on Kobe at the end of games, going in stretches like that and controlling the game with the ball in his hands the whole time?
Make the plays.
So if he doesn't make the plays, then it's not a good.
But we got to make the plays at that time. That's credibility you have. You have to make plays if you're taking that kind of a situation on.
Does that go along with?
Talked the last couple of games about being level zone coverage throughout the course of games. It's unusual at times. Are teams, do you think, starting to do this as a strategy to take out the other guys?
I don't know. I think that when he turns his back or gets below the free throw line, I think he's getting double covered, as I see it.
What are then, the responsibilities if these guys are open and the doubles are coming to make sure that they're engaged when he has that ball? What are the other guys supposed to be doing?
Well, they're supposed to be moving to the spots that the defense is allowing them to get the ball at. And then we go back and hit our offense after that happens. It can be a shot, or it can be a pass and continuation of our offense.
Why do you think that happens, though, to stand around for that? I mean, everybody does know that they're supposed to be doing it. They played it.
Well, I think for the most part, when I look at it, I think everybody's in position, and the choice of whether to take a shot or whether to get back into the offense is the next sequence of action. I think that's where we've been failing a little bit.
Coach, you were quoted yesterday as saying late in the game you didn't think some of your players wanted the ball in their hands. Mm-hmm. How disappointed are you in them in that, and is that a sign of them just shying away?
I'm not going to throw anything out there as far as, I thought that the opportunities when a player's in rhythm and playing, and a guy hasn't touched the ball in a while, it's a little bit difficult to throw that onus on a person that, hey, you should have stepped in there and grabbed the ball and taken a shot. They probably hadn't had a shot in 4 or 5 minutes. There's a combination of factors. You just can't throw it out like, they just shied away because they were afraid to catch the ball or they didn't want to play. So I think, you just have to, level it out. That game was played. It's over with. We move ahead.
But isn't there a certain amount of disappointment in the fact that the Lakers haven't played that well against the bigger name squads this year? The record is like 1-5 against those teams.
Yeah, it's probably more of a disappointment to me that we haven't taken care of the teams that we're supposed to take care of. Those games are going to even out. At some point, they'll even out, and then you get into the playoffs, and then you try to win the playoff games against the good teams that are left in the league, and the rest of them go home. But the ones that are going to go home, you got to beat those. Those are the teams you beat.
As coach, are you alarmed now? Are you alarmed?
Yes, I am.
In what regard? What alarms you the most?
Inconsistencies, I think, offensively is the thing that bothers me the most. We have defensive mistakes. We plotted them out. We talked to them about the team today and what we made mistakes doing. But really, our inconsistencies playing offense is really something we have to work on.
You expressed optimism that when playoff time comes, you guys will be fine. What's keeping you optimistic about that, even through these struggles?
Well, we have 2 years of pretty good records in playoffs, don't we?
Right.
Okay. So that's what keeps me optimistic. We have guys who are experienced and know what to do.
Do your players feel the same way? I mean,
you guys have to ask them that.
There's somebody out here.
Well, there's some out there in the court. Okay.
Trying to figure out what you think about it.
Yes, your turn.
The level of anxiety that comes with a relatively brief stretch of struggles, is that helpful to a team?
I think so.
In what ways?
Well, I think there's a certain amount of tension that goes with winning and losing, and I think that helps a team to be active or more active or play a little bit harder.
Is it? Do you ever? You said you were alarmed, but do you ever look and think, isn't this an awful lot of panic over the circumstances of these moments?
Yes, I do.
But you like the panic. You want the tension torqued up.
No, I don't like it, but I don't run away from it.
But
I
don't you
kind of
like us? Do
embrace
you
it.
like us kind of torquing it up?
Well, otherwise we'd only have 4 or 5 guys here.
Yeah,
And
right.
today now we have 20, so it's much better. Good to see all of you.
How would you like to see the last 7 minutes played offensively now?
A little bit different, a little more consistent with what we do offensively.
We've been talking about your defense for weeks, and the players keep saying, oh, we just need to improve on defense. That's what Kobe said last night. Fish said the same thing. At what point do we see improvement?
I think when some of the habits that we have are broken, and then we replace them with the things we're relearning. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do is to, you can teach, but breaking old habits is probably some of the hardest things to do.
At what point do you want to, do they have to have that improvement?
Oh, I would say April 15th to 17th, sometime right around there.
We haven't mentioned our test or Fisher's shooting yesterday,
No.
which again throws more pressure on one particular player. Is that part of that process? That he starts to look
Yeah.
around?
Well, I looked at some of Ron's shots yesterday. He had multiple shots on one occasion, and neither one of them went in. He was forced to take a 24-second clock buzzer beater. There's a couple shots that were out of the sequence of what we do, but for the most part, I can't really get into Ron and his offense right now. I think that that was a bad day for him offensively, no doubt about it. Derek, we have to spend more time looking for Derek and setting him up and making picks available for Derek to use, and that's one of the things we haven't done.
And you're also when you talk about that last 7 minutes. So what you're saying is you want more people doing more things
Involved, yeah.
involved in what they're supposed to do. Now, is that a criticism of Kobe?
No, it's not.
Are you being careful?
Of course I'm being careful. Why would I?
Can't you not criticize or suggest maybe do it differently?
No, we work on it. He'll work on it. We'll talk about it together about this thing, and we'll work on it.
You haven't mentioned it yet?
To him?
Yeah.
No, I haven't talked to him yet about it. I haven't talked to the team about that game. I've talked to them about Houston.
So you're waiting for this whatever beyond date to bring that one up?
When we see Boston again the next time,
Okay.
we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Will you talk to Ron about his defense, because that seems to be lacking in his game right now as well?
He had a really tough stretch at the beginning of the game. He got kneed in the thigh, and I wasn't aware of it. He said that he went to the bench and he got some help with it, and he was stretching out in the court. And I noticed the activity that wasn't usual for him, and I thought he went back out and just wasn't active defender like he usually is, and so I replaced him and got Luke out there to play it a little bit. But we have to have him. He's an important cog to our defense in our game.
How's Andrew's knee, his left knee?
Andrew, he didn't practice this morning. He was working with the trainers. We're hopeful tomorrow. He says he'll play.